So we're at the Comedia in Bath with Samantha Fish now. Vibrant, electrifying, panache, style, reverence. I mean, there are so many superlatives that are attached to you. Whenever anybody does a search, quick look online, it's like the world is in this state of genuflection, that they're kneeling at this talent. I mean, you must be having a ball, because being you at the moment is a great place to be.
Oh, well, thanks. I mean, I've had a really great year, you know, all things considered. Like, everything has been really, like, just moving in the right direction, you know? But yeah, you guys definitely use some very, sorry, what?
Colorful terms.
Very colorful terms over here. The reviews, it kind of cracked me up, like, wow, I've never heard anybody describe music quite like that, but that's pretty great.
So the last 18 months, 2 years has been pretty much about you and Death Wish Blues, you and Jesse Deyton out on the tour. How good does it feel for you to be back as you, Samantha Fish, the Samantha Fish Band, doing your thing?
I mean, this is what I've been doing. The solo band is what I've been doing my entire career. But I will say that Jesse band, the project that we made together, I was so incredibly proud of that. And it was really refreshing for me to go and take a step away from, you know, the solo band and go into, like, just dive headfirst into this different world, different project. And, you know, what was great about that is I learned so much about, you know, I mean, just playing guitar in a different way. I think it helped me grow a lot as a performer and, you know, learn this different aspect of, you know, stagecraft. And
the success was huge, and it culminated with the Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
So were you, I mean, I know you said you were shocked when you set out at the outset. Did you imagine that this project would garner the attention globally as well, not only in the US but around the world? Did you think it would, in your wildest dreams, get the attention it got?
I mean, I felt like I was hoping it would get, you know, the equal amount of attention at least that my solo stuff gets, and then add Jesse and the stuff that he gets, and then, you know, just make this noise in our community, and, you know, get people's attention, you know, turn heads, and also just, we made a record that we both really love and are proud of. It's a piece of art. And so then to have the Grammys acknowledge it, you know, I mean, I'd never been nominated for a Grammy. Jesse'd never been nominated for a Grammy, so it was a big first for both of us. I think both of us were kind of like, I don't want to say shocked, because it's something you work towards and you want to happen, but I kind of freaked out and humbled. And it was great, you know, it was a great honor. So.
The accolades roll in at such an incredible rate to you. Do you have any idea how many awards you've won?
I don't know.
You don't. So if I told you that since 2017, when you won the Best Artist at the Independent Blues Awards, you have won 38 awards for singing, songwriting, albums, 4 #1 albums, whatever, but 38. So you're averaging about, you know, more than 5 a year.
Well, that's real nice. That's
real
sweet.
That's 38. Do you have a room?
No. You know, it's funny, some of this stuff I find out about on the web, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know, and I might see something later, I might not, and it's nice, you know, it's just always nice to be recognized for what you're doing, and for me, it's just kind of a pat on the back, like you're going in the right direction, you know, keep going. You
haven't got to the stage yet where somebody tells you, think, oh Christ, not another award.
I mean, no. I mean, it's always nice. It's always, you know, it's nice when somebody goes, who do we think is deserving of this nice honor? Oh, this person, you know, I mean, it could be anybody, and sometimes it's me, and sometimes it's not me. And
so we're talking about these awards that have been rolling in. It's that state of recognition that you've had, almost back to being on stage with Buddy, and him saying at the end of the night, after experiencing your talent for the first time, saying, man, when you get shit like that happen, I could play all night.
I mean, that was pretty cool. But I'll be honest with you, that night was such a, I think this kind of sums up the whole accolades, you know, thing. But I remember that night, And it was such a journey to get to that show. His son had invited me and said, I think you might be able to play with my dad tonight if you could make it. But we were in Thunder Bay, Ontario the night before. So we drove all through the night to get back to Kansas City where I was living at the time. And so we're completely delirious. I showed up. It looked like it wasn't going to happen. And then last minute, he called me up on stage. And so I remember being completely like delirious and nervous and freaked out. And I played. I don't even remember being on that stage. But I did it. And apparently it worked out because that quote has been brought up so many times throughout the course of my career that like, you know, I know it was a good night, and I've gotten many opportunities since to perform with him, and he's one of the best conversationalists there is on the guitar. So, you know, but as far as like that and then the accolades, it kind of all feels like that, you know, like I'm just kind of doing my thing and running towards what I'm supposed to be doing, which is the art.
The beauty of your abilities lie in the fact that the one constant is the music is all underpinned by the blues, but you've got all of the subgenres. You've got roots, you've got Americana, you've got R&B, you've got funk, you've got a bit of bluegrass, you've got a bit of country. It's not often that you get somebody that has the ability to just be able to slip into another genre and perform as you do.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm influenced by a lot of different genres, so it kind of, you know, to me, it's just sort of like I just write songs from my perspective, and I guess that is an amalgamation of all my influences. You know, it's just a big mix of everything. And so, you know, for me, I'm not really thinking like this is going to be my country song or this is going to be this song. I know that, you know, like who I am and how I learned how to play is very well rooted in the blues. So I feel like blues and rock and roll is always kind of present in everything that I do. But, you know, a lot of different elements get mixed in, just kind of like where I'm at in the moment, what I'm writing about. And I think it's that way for everybody, probably.
You get obviously a lot of credit for the guitar playing, but there's a growing appreciation now for your songwriting ability and your vocal ability. If you had to be known for one, which would you prefer?
I don't know, man. Honestly, like I've gotten that question before too. What are you more? Are you more a guitar player that sings or a singer that plays guitar? And it's like I picked them both up simultaneously. I started doing them both at the exact same time. You know, I've gone at different paces with it. There was a time where I felt like my guitar playing was stronger than my singing, and I really worked on it. And then there was times where I was like, you know, I'm probably a better singer than, you know. It's like it's one of these like internal competitions where But they both go hand in hand, you know. I mean, I feel weird when I'm on stage without a guitar, just singing. I mean, I can do it, but it looks really strange. It feels really strange. And then the same goes, you know, when I'm up there just playing guitar, I'm like, I mean, this is fun, but I don't feel like I'm quite doing the full thing that I do.
Yeah.
You know?
The live shows. Now, it's show business, and you've said this before. So how important is it to get the mix of everything right? So not only the playing, the performing, but the look, how you look, the stage set, and so on. You're involved in every aspect of all of this. So how important is the overall image? I
mean, it's important. It's you know, why go see a show? You're not just going to hear a show. You're going to see a show. It's part of the whole immersive experience. You know, I feel like the aesthetic is important as the music, and you know, the music is obviously the number one thing, but everything else kind of like supports and lifts the show up. And really, people when they want to go see a show, they want to be entertained.
People listen with their eyes. That's what it is.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely listen with their eyes. You know, I mean, I'm really into production, and you know, I love when I go see a show with like lights. Sometimes lights are like another member of the band. You know, they add this drama and this element of theater to the show and the performance that like you're not going to get bored watching it. You're not going to go grab a beer when they do a ballad, because it's all going to like work together. You know, there's no awkward dead space or whatever. But you know, it's all important.
The look, the all-in-one, the black leather. You've chosen a very, very iconic look. It's timeless. It's classy. Elvis did it.
Why not?
Susie Quattro did it. I mean, there are so many people that carry it on, but it has that classic look and feel. So you're comfortable with how that is portrayed in the media?
My favorite looks, I love timeless classic beautiful. You know, I love rock and roll. And when I look at what I want to be and I look at my heroes, you know, it's like I just kind of try to, you know, that's who I am, you know. I'm becoming more comfortable in my skin. It's funny. It's like I think all the time, like, what's next? What should I do next? You know, what's the next evolution? You know, but it's like, to be honest, like I feel like I'm feeling pretty well rooted in who I am, and it's like really just the evolution of that. It's like I don't feel like I have to do a big backflip and come out in a, you know, a bird hat or something. I don't know. It's like, I don't need to do a bunch of it.
The live shows now. You've been on Eric Clapton's Crossroads Fest. You were with Slash on the Serpent Fest. You're on the Stones bill. What does it mean to you to get recognition from your peers? And we're talking about the elite list here like, of peers. How does it make you feel that people not only know your name, but they know what you do and they want you as part of their bill?
To be honest, it's a little, it's freaky, it's humbling. It's sort of shocking because I sometimes think back to who I was when I started this, you know, 15-year-old kid in my bedroom, you know, and things that I wanted, and, you know, and I've gotten a lot of those things, and it's still growing, and I'm still chasing it down. So for me, it's just really, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's kind of just, again, like another affirmation of, you know, this thing that I've been working really hard on. It's a lot of hard work, and you know, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it, but it makes it worth it. And again, I mean, it's pretty cool to hear Mick Jagger say, "Give it up for Samantha Fish" on stage, and you know, twice this year, which is pretty awesome. It's a good feeling.
You should have that as your ringtone on your phone.
I should.
Next album is your 10th, which is again a prolific work rate. Now, you've said you try not to do the same thing twice. You try and do something original every time. How difficult is that now becoming as you move into this stage when you're getting into double figures for your albums? It can't be easy.
I'll be honest though, it's not something I think too, like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm lazy about it. I just feel like I'm a different person today than I was 3 years ago, 4 years ago when I made my last solo album. You know, when I went out with Jesse and did the duet, I hate it, you know, the collaborative record. It's not really a duets record. That sounds really silly. You know, it's a rock and roll album. But I feel like I'm a different person than I was on the last one. So for me, it's like just tapping into who I am right now and tapping into my strengths. And
what's the schedule for this, by the way? You're in terms of finish and release next year?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think I'm done.
Oh, you're done?
I think I'm done, but I don't have a release. I know
Working
what
title?
Nope. Oh, heck no. But I have an idea of when it's supposed to come out, but if I put it into the atmosphere, it's not going to happen for another 3 years. So let me just hold that back for a second.
So we're coming up to Halloween.
My favorite.
Yeah, now I wondered whether or not there was any chance that we could get a repeat of one of your most amazing stunts. And for those of you that don't know what this is where Samantha and her band dressed up as a hair metal band.
Oh, that was great.
And went on play Van Halen covers. But it's the attention to detail. The attention to detail. You carried in bottles of Jack Daniels, which were filled with iced tea, and bags with flour.
Like 100 years ago.
Bags with flour. What an epic night. Where was this?
This was at BB's Lawn. This was my regular Thursday night gig in Kansas City. And it's a wonderful place. They gave me a home for years to play, and we used to have a lot of fun there, but we play there every Thursday, so it was like, how can we spice it up tonight? We do different little theme nights and fun stuff. But yeah, that was a Halloween show. We're like, what can we, you know, I think we were listening to a lot of Van Halen in the van that year. So we're like, let's dress up like this. And yeah, we brought a friend out, Tyson Leslie, because he's really like a great shredder and could do all that stuff. And so I'm like, I'm going to need some help because I'm, you know, we had we didn't have as much time to put the music together, like, but we had the costumes perfect, but the music was, you know, it was fine. Don't go look at videos. Tyson did great. I did not.
And so you're almost, what, 20 plus years on from that backyard debut that you made with, what was it, Rick, Tom and Greg?
You know everything. You know all of it. Yeah.
Rick, Tom and Greg. Now, are Rick, Tom and Greg actually still in touch and keeping an eye on your career? But that was where it first happened, wasn't it? Your first foray into a public arena with a guitar.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like, I mean, that you never know how things are going to affect you and change you. And I didn't know I wanted to be a professional musician until that day.
Yeah.
You know, and I honestly probably wouldn't have gone up there on my own accord because I was so scared, like stage fright. I was very shy. I couldn't even give a book report, you know, in middle school without crying about it. I was so scared to talk in front of people, and I don't know, just horrifically shy. But yeah, I went up on, they were having a set break, and I went and I looked at, it was Greg Camp's guitar. And because it was really cool, it was this little flat Gibson that looked like an acoustic from the front, but it was actually an electric. And Rick Yord and Tom Hall is the other guy. He's great. He said, here you go, strapped it on me and said, go ahead and play. And I didn't have time to say no, so that kind of, I remember it changing me, like, oh wow, I think I need to do this professionally. And I changed everything, you know, and I started chasing it. And yeah, I mean, Greg Camp has since passed, but I've stayed, you know, I keep an eye on Tom Hall, you know, on social media and stuff, and he's a lovely guy.
Lastly, there's a great quote by one of your peers that says, the blues is a long and winding road, right? But it might well be a river. The twists and turns into a sea of limitless musical possibilities.
Yeah.
So if you're on that journey, where do you see yourself going over the next decade?
That's the cool part about it, is you don't really know. You just are kind of going with the creative flow. I don't want to do too many river analogies because we could get but you know what I mean. Like, I feel
that was Billy Gibbons, by the way.
Oh, really?
That was his quote.
Well, it's true. I mean, and the thing is, the blues is an inspiration for all the other modern forms of music that have come after it, you know. So I feel like there's room within the genre to evolve. There's room to pull in other elements, and it's exciting. I mean, I feel, you know, with respect to the genre, I feel inspired to put my spin on things and to you know, have a voice and do something with it. And you know, all I've got is my own artistic expression and trying to pull all these elements together. I have no idea what the record 5 years from now is going to sound like. I just know about the one the one I just did. And then you grow a little bit and you start loving other things, and who knows where that goes. And
lastly, what do you do when you're not involved in writing, performing, promoting, doing the website, doing the social media? What does Samantha do for fun? Are you any good at cooking? I knew you were having a go at getting into cooking.
You got to ask somebody with a life that question. No, I do like cooking. I mean, I started doing it a lot more during the pandemic. I did a lot more during the pandemic.
What's your signature dish?
I haven't done it in a while, so I'd hate to make it for anybody and have it suck. But I like smoking ribs. I started learning how to do that. My dad taught me after I moved from Kansas City to New Orleans, and they have great barbecue there. But I'm from Kansas City, so you know, I was like, I got to figure this out. I got to help. I got to figure out what I can do, you know. And so I learned how to smoke some ribs, and they're pretty devastating. I'll say that. I just can't eat that all the time. You know.
Well, actually, you're over in the UK at the moment because we said we're in Bath. Is aspects of British culture? I mean, you've been here a few times now. So, are there any things that you actually look forward to? I mean, I know people go on about the food not being great.
I love it. You know, for me, it's like I have specific things I like to eat over here. I love the British cuisine. I love the shepherd's pies, the little bangers of mash. I like the fish chips. You know, you get the stuff that I like, going to the place and getting the food that you know,
The locals eat.
that the locals eat, that you read about at home. I'm not going to come here and try and get like a pepperoni pizza and, you know, smoked ribs. Like I can do that anywhere. I want, you know, but I'm sure there's some places here that do that great. No offense. I'm just saying I like to go and tap into what the locals do. We went and had high tea today and that was awesome.
Did you?
Yeah,
What?
it was great.
Little sandwiches and
It
cakes.
was so cute, yeah. I found it's so funny. I found out my aunt hit me up and said our ancestry. We're like we found out my ancestry
Really?
report. Oh yeah, we're from here, totally.
You're from what? The
South
UK.
of Leeds, a town called Barnsley. Like my great
You
great
are
grandmother.
from Barnsley.
I'm from Barnsley, a Barnsley girl, proud Barnsley girl. The cars, I don't know, it's funny.
Oh
It's
my
just-
God.
I know.
That is
my
absolutely
aunt's
incredible.
always texting me about it. She's like, you're like.
Do the people of Barnsley know that you're your
No.
family history goes back there?
No, but we played a show there a couple years ago, and this guy came up to the merch table and looked just like my dad, and I started cracking up, and he had no idea why I was laughing at him. I was like, "No, you look like my dad," and he just is like, "Okay." And I said, "It's funny because we're probably related." He just said, "Whatever, I don't know."
Fabulous.
It's just funny.
Fabulous. Ladies and gentlemen, Samantha Fish.